that was like another movie. I remember it was like, I don't know. It's a weird thing, but I went with my two buddies. We did not. They went and saw The Matrix Resurrections. I already saw The Matrix 4 on HBO Max, and then I went to Licorice Pizza, and I remember that because it was like December. It was like the first because the previous December was COVID, so I wasn't at the theater. And then like this, it was like that Christmas time vibe going to the theater to see this really well-made comedy drama by one of the best directors, one of the best living American directors in Paul Thomas Anderson and everything like that. And Licorice Pizza was just a lovely movie through and through. And then fast forward, what, 4 years later, and Cooper Hoffman, the star of The Long Walk,
Yeah.
you know, after that launch pad. But yeah, this is Paul Thomas Anderson's first movie. If you need a refresher, Paul Thomas Anderson responsible for Boogie Nights, commonly considered, also this one, commonly considered to be one of the best movies of the last decade, There Will Be Blood, which is a phenomenal film, top to bottom. Inherent Vice, Phantom Thread with Daniel Day-Lewis, which was like the last movie DDL did until this new one that's coming out, Anemone,
Yeah.
that's directed by his son Ronan, I believe. But PTA is back. And one of the great things about PTA as a filmmaker is you get the impression, I mean, a lot of his early movies, and I love Boogie Nights. I really do. That's a great film. A lot of his early movies, though, you can definitely tell he wears his influences on his sleeve.
Like he's like, look what Scorsese taught me. I watched Raging Bull 10 times. Look at how this is like Raging Bull. Like the last couple movies he's done, Licorice Pizza, and now this, it doesn't feel like he owes anything to anybody or has to prove himself anymore. He really feels like his own man. And
Yeah.
he's always felt like somebody that's tried so hard and successfully not to be boxed in as a filmmaker. You think of Martin Scorsese movies, you think of mob movies. Granted, he's made a hell of a lot more than mob movies, but his mob movies are some of his biggest movies. That's what you think of when you think of Scorsese. When you think of Spike Lee, you think of movies that deal with race and class. That's not
Or New
all of
York.
his movies. Or New York. That's not all of his movies. That's a lion's share. Like, but with PTA, you don't really have that. You have what I think of Paul Thomas Anderson is I think of a wide canvas. I think of a period in time. I think of whether it's the underbelly of the California porn industry, whether it's the 19th century oil boom, whether it's the 1950s London and Phantom Thread or something like that. I think of just like a wide canvas, like he's somebody with a gigantic diorama and a very specific point in time. And he drops us into that point in time, peppers the movie with a lot of interesting, flavorful characters, and we just sit back for 2-3 hours and are in this world. And what's different about One Battle After Another, there's a lot of things that are different than what he's previously done. But this is based off of Thomas Pynchon's novel Vineland. And from what I've read, it's not really a loyal adaptation of the book. It's more of a thematic adaptation of the book. That is a book that concerns sort of the changing of American politics and culture from the 1960s to the 1980s. This movie does not have a set designated period of time. The only thing that gives it a modern flavor is the fact that there are cell phones.
Yeah.
That's the only sort of tell in the movie.
That's actually really funny because, like, well, there's actually another thing too. I didn't know. I was like, I wonder what period this takes place in. Like, 'cause when the movie opens, it's like this could be the 80s, this could be the 90s. And then like we flash forward, and it's like I still don't know what time period. This could be the early 2000s. And then yeah, you see a smartphone, but it also gives away is when the main character's daughter goes to a dance and they're playing oh my god, what are they playing at the homecoming dance? It's the most Gen Z
Mo
song.
Bamba.
Yeah, Mo Bamba. They're playing the most Gen Z song ever. I'm like, all right, we're in current day. Got it.
I'm like, oh, we got Mo Bamba, Shaq West, baby. Anyway, no, very good point. Very, very good tell on that. Yeah, this is a movie. It's a little tough to explain, but essentially what this movie revolves around is it opens with sort of a far left extremist group known as the French 75. Two of the members in there are a couple, a young couple. They are Perfidia and Bob, played by Tiana Taylor and Leonardo DiCaprio. And They are part of like a militant activist group that goes about change through violence, whether it is releasing migrants from a detention center, whether it's orchestrating the robbing or bombing of banks. Very militant, far left terrorist organization.
Yeah.
And essentially, in the opening prologue, I'm trying to figure out how much I want to give away in this movie. Perfidia goes about having this sort of like serving as like a sexual distraction to a commanding officer named Stephen Lockjaw, played by Sean Penn. And Lockjaw is this like steely-eyed white supremacist. He's part of a far-right group known as the Christmas Adventurers that's comprised of a lot of major political players, including himself.
God, yeah, I don't know how much I want to give away either, because it's like he's not part of it yet. He's applying for it. And he's got to complete something to like, basically earn his stars and stripes a bit.
True. So and that's the thing. This is one of those movies too that it doesn't jump around, but it does kind of propel you to different perspectives and different points in time in so many ways. But I'll say this: 16 years. This prologue's about maybe 25 minutes. 16 years later, I'm just gonna say Perfidia's gone. And Bob is now raising their daughter, Willa, who is played by Chase Infinity. And she's about 16 years old. They kind of have this frosty father-daughter relationship where he's like this, like, ever since she was born, he's wanted to settle down and become like a dad and have a family, where Perfidia wanted to continue the activist lifestyle as opposed to embrace motherhood, which is an understandable push-pull. And then Lockjaw comes back into the picture and sends Willa and Bob on the run, in so many words. That's about what I will go with it, how far I'm going to go with this in terms of a plot. But I want kind of a baseline, because there's a lot of intricacies in this movie, and it's a long movie, too. It's 2 hours and 40 minutes.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my baseline. Where would you like to go from there, Joe?
I'll add this, just so I can jump off of this point as well, is that Lockjaw is, like, he's basically trying to wrap up loose ends from being humiliated, because when his operation, which was, basically rounding up a bunch of migrants to ship them back off, to send them back to Mexico and everything, he gets embarrassed by the